Welcome to MGD TV. My name is Roman. We're on the program The Policy. Yeah, on our program or our show, we always talk about the policies around the world. When we talk about the policy, there are so many things which we cover under this program called The Policy on MGD TV. We talk about the policies, developmental policies, all policies affecting people around the world. When we talk about the policy, we include about these are laws, things which can help the country to develop. So today on MGD TV, we are going to, in our program, The Policy, to discuss about three things. My editor on MGD TV has given us to discuss about three things. One, actually what I want to remind you is that this program will host different people to discuss about government policies. And basically in Uganda, as you know, MGD is more in monitoring the implementation of government programs. That's why you see we go back to our program, the name of the program, The Policy. Which policies is government implementing to see that it provides services to its people. And we want to know if Parliament passes these policies, approves these policies, that means approving our budget is under different policies. Are these policies being implemented as per the approval of the Parliament or executive? So all that is what we discuss in our program, The Policy. So today, my editor for MGD TV has given us three issues to talk about. One, about the court ruling, the recent court ruling of the Supreme Court, the ruling and the response of the president. Then two, the war in Congo. We have had this stuff where you hear Rwanda, the Rwandan president being implicated, that is the one supporting the M23. And then also we need to talk about, the third thing to talk about is the president of the United States of America, the policies, the executive orders being signed by the president of the United States of America, Donald Trump, John Trump, and his billionaire who has caused chaos where he has become a song in America, closing all entities, closing workers out, locking them out their working station, retiring people in America, sending them on early retirement. That is Elon Musk. So it's what we are going to discuss. Now let's start with the issue. Today I'm going to be around on this show. Then as you know, we'll be hosting different people on the show to discuss on the policies and also to hear from you. We need to hear from you. We hear say government has approved this money, and at the moment we are in the process of budgeting. In the month of June, we will be passing our next budget for 2025-2026. So we want to know if they say the government is working on this road. Is it true? You tell us and we discuss, we inform the government. That's what we call on-spot monitoring. That, as you see in our adverts, we have on-spot. That is on-spot monitoring, evaluation and monitoring. Are the government programs being implemented? We will focus more on the government programs. We want to know whether the government, to evaluate whether the government is working. Next, 2026 is near. They are asking for our mandate again. Are we going to give them a mandate? But before we give them a mandate, we need to evaluate. So it's you to tell us, me and you. Tell us, let's inform the president, let's inform the ministers, let's inform the MPs that yes, indeed, what you have approved, it has been implemented by the technocrats. So, we have, I think, all of us in the country, that is the current discussion about the court ruling. But I want to tell you something. Now, you see, most people are discussing about them, but me, I will not go deep into that. I want to just to alert you or to inform you what really provoked the Supreme Court. You know, you have been hearing most of the advocates, the likes of Council Elias Lukwago, the President of Law Society, all of them, they have been attacking the judiciary, saying the Chief Justice has failed even to set a date to give the ruling, and eventually the ruling came out. But I want to tell you what provoked and why the army is crying, the court martial is crying. By the way, I want to be sincere. It's true, Supreme Court had taken wrong. And I think what provoked the Supreme Court is the way the recent trends or the recent action is. Court martial, if most people witnessed what happened on the issue of Aaron Kiza, Council Aaron Kiza, how the court martial treated that incident, it really awakened the judges of the Supreme Court that I think we need to come up. Otherwise, we are going to face something which will put a bad record on the judiciary of Uganda. If you remember, ideally, if at all you are going to convict somebody in the justice of Uganda, you need to give a person a right to defend himself. Article 28 of our Constitution, every person is presumed to be innocent until proved guilty. Now, the way the court martial acted in just a second to send Counsel Aaron Kiza without giving even a chance for him to say any word, that was violation of his right. And when I think the Supreme Court, the judges of the Supreme Court, the Chief Justice witnessed that, if you had them in their ruling, the Chief Justice said this was worse, they had become worse. These people, they were not impartial. These are the people who would wake up one day and decide to give a ruling that so and so should be sentenced to death on a firing squad. So I think this really provoked the judges of the Supreme Court and said before things go worse, to term the powers of these guys in the court martial, it will be late. So I think that was one of the things which provoked and said, please look here, these guys have gone beyond. I think we need to come up and give a ruling. The Court of Appeal gave its decision and said no, the court martial has no powers to try civilians. No, the Supreme Court had kept quiet and they were witnessing. But when the act of sending Counsel Aaron Kiza, even if I was down, that was enough for me to wake me up and say, look, these guys can wake up and say, let me say, our editor here is already in custody. Their custody, they can wake up and say, without even giving it a chance to defend yourself, they can just wake up and say, we have sentenced you to death. Without giving it. Because what they did, it was beyond. I witnessed, I was following up the trends, and I was so shocked how the chairperson of the court martial gave a ruling on that matter. Because the way, even if in that, at least even if he would have allowed him to say just even one word, it was enough to say, okay, yes, we have witnessed, we have gone through the process, we have given you time to state anything, you understand it. But it was just okay, yes, you are charged in this case, and here we are sentencing you to prison. Immediately there and then, within a second, I have never witnessed that in the justice of this world, how things actually, even if, of course, I've been following other, they have courts in, sometimes they take them in up countries, but here they give time to they are choose to state something, or their lawyers or their advocates, etc. But this was really, really, really beyond. Now, the reaction of the president, and in that case, of course, we understand it was a ruling from Michael Kabazuruka. Of course, even you understand the lawyers who are there, Karibu Haraka and Counsel Medad Segona. Those were the main lawyers who were in that case. By the way, what you have to understand that the president is a politician, and I don't want to lie to you that the Chief Justice indeed can take such a bold ruling. Let's leave this, and without consulting His Excellency the President. This is politics. I'm naturally born a politician. So I've been a politician right from my childhood. I know what the system inside, how inside it moves. So I believe the president was aware of what was coming up, and he gave his side. But of course, as a head, you have to balance both sides as a circumsober. And he had to come up and say something on that kind on the ruling. But I in all our medicine, because people have discussed all this, what I wanted to bring out more is about what provoked, because people are discussing, and I remember even Joseph just told the council, the advocates who were on that case, and actually the other people, the lawyers who are criticizing him, and say, I think you need to apologize. But of course, at the end of the day, Counsel Karibu Haraka apologized on behalf of the Uganda Law Society and on behalf of other advocates or other lawyers. But what I wanted you to understand that what provoked the Chief Justice and the judges of the Supreme Court was action of how the court martial sentenced Counsel Aaron Kiza. That was total violation of human rights. Now, that's all I wanted to discuss about. Now, when you come on the issue of Congo, I want to be clear on the issue of Congo. Let me tell you, what is affecting, I will not actually focus on Congo. What is affecting Africa is one thing: media. You see, I'll give you an example before I indulge into the issue to discuss more on Congo. All of us, we are hearing about issues of Kagame, where we have seen presidents attacking each other, even others, even not even addressing the others. His Excellency, the President Tshisekedi. I've seen even President Kagame attacking the President of South Africa, Ramaphosa. Even I've seen even Julius Malema firing back to Kagame. Now, I want to be clear. If I've followed the President Kagame and I've been following all the talks, but there is something inside which the people outside have failed to understand. Because if you look at President Kagame, you will see a person who knows what is inside and who feels other presidents knows it, but they are playing some intrigue of politics which is attacking him. Is a man who is saying, you guys come out and tell the entire world, why are you putting me on this when you know the truth? You see, because if you look at even the meeting they had, the online meeting they had, which President Tshisekedi refused to attend, the way he was addressing or talking to his fellow president, and how the others were, the gesture, how they were looking at him, it really, for me, as a person who analyzes the trends, I really looked at it and I said, look, there is something which our presidents in East Africa and in Africa, which they are telling us, which they are not telling us what is in Congo. Now, and as I said, the problem of Africa is media. If you know in that the entire world, every region has a specific media house or any media entity which helps it to air out or to put out their views or to fight battles, which is not in Africa. When you look at in Arab countries, They have Al Jazeera. You have been following the. I think you have been following the. We have been following this war of Gaza and Israel. But what has helped, I think, even to see that now there are some kind of discussion of ceasefire, exchange of these prisoners and so on. It has been because of media, because Al Jazeera has been showing every minute everything which has been happening in Gaza, so that it brings to the entire world to blame Israel, and this has helped to the extent that people get to know what is happening. But if there was no media, no one would have known what is happening in Gaza. But the power of media, and that's why you see that the basis for us, the basis of starting MGD Media, it was basically at promoting the works of the Minister for General Duties. That's where there was the basis, the idea where it came in. I remember when we had started working with the Minister for General Duties in the Office of the Prime Minister, we would do a lot of work, but it was not known to the world. Eh? It was nothing. You do all kind of work. You do. It's where you sleep even at around 3, wake up at 6, you move this way. But no one will get to know. But when we came in the MGD, people started seeing the minister as a very hardworking person. But before she was doing more work than what she was doing. But what I want to that the media helps a lot to bring out what is even in inside. Even if you do something about it, the whole world will understand. You have seen how these people, the Fulfiga and others, they are not the best person in this world, but because the power of the media has helped them even to be on the table of the kings. Now, if you look at the issue of even UN, you have seen President Kagame crying, the reaction of UN and so on. This is all media propaganda and so on. But we, as who are outside, we have failed to understand what is really in Congo. So, if you go to Europe, they have BBC. They use BBC and they can control. Africa, we don't have a media house which can control to help us and fight these media battles with the outside world or other continents. No, you are seeing what is happening in US. All of us who use, tell me in Africa, which TV do we have? Every country has its own station, and most of the stations we have, these are foreign stations. That's why my call and my cry to the presidents of Africa, they need to come up with their own television, with their own print media, like the newspaper. They have to have a strong media house, which is owned by Africa, where they can wake up and say, please, it's time. We have been attacked in a media battle, or we have been attacked by other continents. Europe, you have heard recently how President Trump went on knuckles with the president of South Africa, Ramaphosa. Tell how Elon Musk proposed that we should cut off some relief to South Africa. Even him, he had to fire back. But all of this was power of the media. But if we don't have media in Africa, which can help, and even if we don't have investigative journalists, we have lost them. I remember we had an investigative journalist. We had here Andrew Mwenda. Before, I'm sorry to say this, before he was eaten up by as a president. But these are the guys who are independent. They will get and investigate the stories, give out clear information. But here, you'll find that even apparently is not an independent person who can lie on. Tomorrow you will see him with President Kagame. The other day you will see him with President. But he will give you what he feels is that's right, and he will argue that. However, we need, and most of the people, like apparently, if you Arno Mwenda wakes up, we cannot go to Congo and interview the M23, their leader, because also he fears, and even the others, they will not give him the right information. But we need independent journalists who will have to go to the field, meet the rebels, investigate, and who can be respected, where even they are meeting these people in the bush, they will get to know that the person I'm giving my information is going to keep releases what is supposed to be released, and keeps what he is not supposed. And if he's to release it, he will know how to pray around so that he will not give out information which can again weaken our struggle. So we need independent journalists who can give us the real story. What is happening in Congo? And we need to have a media house which can tell the outside world what is happening. Like now, I was following up the issues of where Elon Musk is saying, no, we has come up to cross to cross most of the entities, including now the USA. But the battle now, what is the pressure which has been put on Elon Musk? It is the power of the media. You are seeing most of the representatives are coming out say Elon Musk. Even others have asked him, Elon Musk, you came to USA, to America when you were 31 years. So tell us, are you also not a refugee? How did you come here? They are questioning, but all of this we get to know because of the power of the media. So one, which I want to say is that if we are to move, Africa must get its own media house, which they can control. And my people here who are working with MGD TV, I think it's time to stand up. You need to stand up. You may find that we are the media of Africa. So let's leave these things of going to showing people notice and so on. Ours, let's focus on to bring out the real issues which are happening. Independent journalism is I think that's the trend where to go now, because we have lost. If you look, I've shown you. If you look to Europe, they have BBC. If you look to Arabs, they have Al Jazeera. Now America, they have also their own station. But in Africa, if Trump is saying, no, you Ramaphosa, you are segregating people. You are fighting which media house are we going to use and say, look, this is the real story, what is happening, and which Americans they will say now, this is the TV to follow, this is the newspaper to follow. Which one are we following to give up independent news? If they are saying now, Congo has been attacked, which media house is the outside the world going to follow, to give the exact news, what is happening, real-time news, than coming up with the UN report where the president of Rwanda is saying, no, UN reports are they are biased. They are not giving out what is really in Congo. So that's the issue. Now, the last issue which we want to discuss is, I think, can we say 10 days of Donald Trump as the president? Donald Trump, America is going to feel it. Actually, they who has been watching, I think it's time. God bless the Americans for the world to give them Trump. I think Africans can say God bless us, because it's bringing out show. It's time now to test whether there is democracy in America or not. Which democracy they have been crying. Oh, now you see, Europe or American leaders have been criticizing Africa, where we have dictators in Africa. Now, I was so shocked. Now people were asking, Elon Musk just wakes up, talks, they come up with executive order. We have been crying in Uganda where you see Museveni, you see Kagame, these are people who wake up and write and say they change. They do things in their houses. Now it's what is happening in America. No policy being taken to the House of Representatives to discuss, pass a bill and say we are now crossing. Like here, at least in Uganda, when the rationalization, we said they take it to Parliament to say now we are crossing this entity because of ABCD. What is happening in America? Billionaire comes and wakes up and say we are crossing because we have lost. But however, there is something I want to alert on the issue of USAID. You see, I've been discussing with some friends in America. I've been to America, and I know I've got close friends, and they give me information, or they share with me news and everything what is happening in America. Now, I want you to, the reason why, to me, I believe why they are closing even USAID is because these people, the Republicans, understand that the people who have been electing more, the Democrats, are refugees. if you try, you can do more investigation. But last year, I think it was September, when I was in New York, I tried to investigate during the campaign, hot campaigns. By then, people are still struggling, trying to say. One of the people whom I interviewed was telling us, a Democrat, saying that was telling me that we have lost because of Biden and so on. And the information was giving us that the Democrats have already known that they have already lost. Before Addis Kamara came in, he was telling me we have already lost. What we are now targeting, what Democrats they are doing is now strategize for the next term. And now the people in the administration, they are going to open borders to see that they are going to pray around, see that there's so many refugees, so many blacks come in America, to see that they get that support, because most of the refugees, most of the blacks vote America, save for this time, because that's another part which I will give you why most of the blacks did not vote Kamala Harris. Now, when I was discussing with them, that were telling me that story. Now, if I try to add up with what the person was telling me and what is happening, it comes back to know that, you see, this USAID and other entities, these are entities which have been helping to take refugees to America. Now, these guys, the Republicans, are calculating the next term. And the plans of Elon Musk are not ending on this term with Donald Trump. They are planning, they know that this one is already taken, but now they are looking at the next term. So the next term is a way to strategize to see that now, where are the loopholes? Because that's me how I view it. Leave these issues of saying that we are cutting costs here, America is losing money. There is nothing like that. What is there is the next term. These people knows that these are entities which are bringing refugees here, and these people don't vote us more. They vote Democrats. So how are we going to cut that we remain in power in the next term? Is by closing out all of these entities, the USAID and others which helps to take refugees to America. And that's where it is. Elon Musk was from South Africa. He knows how he moved to America. He has been there. He's a billionaire. He knows how it trades across the world. So he knows where all the loopholes are. And that's where the tips say, now, look here. You said if we close these people are working here, these are the entities they are using to bring these people in America, so we need to close this. You know, if we close this, they will not bring more up. Which strategies even Democrats were going to use and say, we need more blacks. Now, the issue is about the next term. The reason why I said I would talk on the issue why most of them, when I was discussing with one of my friends in USA during after the election, actually after the election of Donald Trump, and I was asking the question, why? Because I've been seeing watching overwhelming support. Most people have been saying Kamala Harris have support. He told me, she told me actually, she told him that no, most blacks did not vote Kamala Harris. And the question is that when he was Anthony, Kamala Harris arrested and convicted so many blacks, and that could be one of the reasons why most blacks did not vote. But ideally, most of the blacks vote Democrats. And that's why the other friends of mine was telling me that the way they are strategizing is to see how open up borders, and most of the refugees come to America. At the time of election, now they come back. And now it tells me that these people also got these tips, the likes of Elon Musk and Donald Trump and his administration, that you see, look here, guys, we need to close these entities. This is where the loophole, if we are to get to the next term. The issue is not America, that you said has been there, these entities have been there. So you'll see. And if you see the people who are talking, most of last night I was hearing one of the representatives who said for her, she went to America as a refugee. Now imagine, she's now representing a state. So I came to America as a refugee. Now if you cross out this, how are we going to survive? You know, this really, if you add up the notes, it will really tell you that the issue is political. Because if it was your issue now, it would have been please, let's take it to the House. Let's discuss. Let's pass a bill. But they know that if we take it to the House, there are Democrats who are going to debate and so on and so on. However, what I want to be clear on this, because I know politics. Elon Musk is a billionaire. But the more we go into that, is opening up attacks to his business. I want to be sincere to you. He has been enjoying his liberty, he has been enjoying his freedom without being involved into politics. The moment you get involved into politics, one of my friends was telling, we were discussing, and we used to say that if you need to know that either you are good or bad, enter politics. The person will even tell you what you did when you were at 3 years or 4 years, will tell the world. Now, Elon Musk has been into his cover, has been enjoying it, but I'm telling you, you are going to see petitions, cases in court if he continues to close more entities. They are going even to go ahead even to investigate how he got all those riches, how he got all those the properties he owns. Or if there is any deal he has been transacting with the government, all of those are going to come out. So it's time now to decide either he goes for politics and affects his business, or he concentrates on the business. Because it's also giving an opportunity to the competitors he has into business. This one I want to be clear to you, that Elon Musk's businesses are going to be affected the more he gets into politics. You cannot mix politics with business. Direct. If he wants to play, then he has to be in undercover. He has to be inside. But if he brings out his head, I've been following most of the people have come up. Even last night I was hearing most of the representatives saying, we are going to sue him. We are going. Even they were asking. Actually, the emotion felt where they were in the committee where they were asking. They wanted to summon him in the committee to come and ask him where he was getting powers to close the entities. So I'm telling you, the politics I know, because it has affected me personally. Even when I was at my university, I started politics when I was very young. Prefect to university, I finished my first degree course. My first degree as a grade president, I nearly missed out to graduate because I really was being attacked because I was defending I was defending my electorate, and the administration was saying, please, you guys, they already voted you. It's time now to stand. You are part of the administration. You have to agree with the policies which you are passing. But I was looking on the other side and said, look, but these people voted me overwhelmingly, almost past unopposed. Where should I stand? When I made the decision that I should stand with the students, it was not easy for me to go through. The only thing which saved me that I was a bright guy who had passed all marks, which I did not need favor from the administration. That's what saved me really. But if I had retake somewhere, or if I had failed an exam somewhere, I want to assure that I would have not succeeded. So that's what I want to compare to. The more Elon Musk goes into politics and starts coming up to show that he almost has all the powers, guys are going to go for his businesses, and that's how they will bring him down. So he's now at time good, I know. He's seeing it as it's easy, but if he has never been in politics direct, like the way they have brought him, I'm telling you, it is going to affect his business, and by the time we will wake up, we will know that he's no longer number 1 in the world, he's number 10 in America, and number 20 in the world. Because these guys are going to target his government. They are going to bring out, I want to be open to you, no billionaire can be there without making any business, any contract, or any deal with the government. So all of those things are going to come out. Basically, what I want to wrap up with is that on the issue of the current affairs. Actually, basically, it will be current affairs in the world at a local level, that is Uganda, Africa, then the entire world. Let's catch up. Every week we shall be having our show to discuss on the current trends in the world. Thank you. Let's meet.